I did not see that one coming. I don't think anyone saw that coming. This is hot off the press from Jason Schreier. He writes that Microsoft is planning to buy Zenimax Bethesda, an industry shaking acquisition that will give Xbox ownership of Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, and more. They're supposedly paying $7.5 billion dollars for this acquisition, which is three times what Microsoft paid for Minecraft. And this is huge. All right, so I've been talking a lot on the show. Phil and I have been talking a lot about this on our weekly War Never Changes podcast, that Microsoft has been playing from behind this entire time. It's been a non-stop loss for them to Sony leading up to the console wars. And I think the hype for Microsoft is definitely at an all-time low. This news really changes a lot for me personally because I am a huge Bethesda fan. They are by far my absolute favorite studio. Really, it's Arcane Studios nested under them, but we'll just say Bethesda for the larger audience here. Dishonored, one of my absolute favorite games. Prey, one of my absolute favorite games. I love Wolfenstein. I play Elder Scrolls daily on my computer. This is a monstrous deal and comes out the day before pre-orders for the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X in a bold, bold statement. This is really a big deal. There's a lot of blogs here. I'm not going to read through all of them. But there are blogs on both the Bethesda website and on the Xbox Wire, which I will post links in the description below so you could read all of this on your own. Basically, talking from major people on both sides of the fence as to how big this is. There's a discussion in here from Pete Hines. There is a blog in here from Phil Spencer. There's also a blog in here from Todd Howard. And then this is actually a Pete Hines one again. Sorry. So there's a lot of discussions here on kind of really just pages and pages of information if you're really curious, kind of their thought process. But just look at that slide of all of the IP that Microsoft now owns. And it just makes my mind race instantly. Well, you got to remember that there are already exclusive deals that were put in place prior to this acquisition, which is kind of funny because you're going to see games like Deathloop, for example, still a timed exclusive on the PlayStation 5 console wise. But you're going to see the Xbox logo on front of a PlayStation game, which is going to be kind of funny. Outside of that, looking forward into the future, you are absolutely going to see a lot of these games potentially remain exclusives on Microsoft. Maybe that's a way for them to bolster their numbers, or maybe they're just going to reap the profits and open it up to the greater audience. I can't imagine a universe in which the Elder Scrolls 6 is a console exclusive, but if it is, wow, what a bold, bold move by Microsoft. This will definitely turn the needle. Definitely turn the needle. I'm not saying that this means Xbox wins the console war. I still proudly maintain PlayStation 5 is the premier experience, but this is a strong, strong case now for people to maybe think that Xbox isn't as dead as we thought they were. There's a lot of franchises in here as I'm looking through this list that I really could see being funneled to either an Xbox third party studio or kind of have the work spread around. Keep in mind, Microsoft owns a lot of studios now. A lot of studios. This is by far the largest by a long shot. But you could potentially see some smaller studios take pieces of these games and work on them under the Microsoft umbrella. Now, Bethesda, as a large company, under the shell of Zenimax, they have a lot of the acquisition tools and experience already in place. They've been making games for an incredibly long time. A lot of times with these acquisitions, one of the big draws for the company being bought out is they don't necessarily have that IP and that not IP. They don't have that infrastructure in order to develop properly. They don't have like labs. They don't have ways to publish easily. They don't have good test beds. That is not the case here. Bethesda is a very well established company. Microsoft buying them out from a infrastructure standpoint means there's a lot of redundancy on Microsoft's side. They may ultimately choose to leave Bethesda alone. They may. I suspect the name Bethesda carries a lot of weight. I know it does for me personally. I don't think that name's going to be dissolved, obviously. But I think Microsoft, if they're smart, they're going to just inject maybe a little bit of guidance on some of their key IPs, but ultimately let Bethesda do what Bethesda does. And I think that is a phenomenal idea. And it makes me wonder, additionally, this is purely speculation at this point, are we going to see Dishonored make a return? Because it didn't do all that well in sales. But as a console exclusive, as a way to bolster up that Game Pass package, as a way to make Microsoft consoles mean more now than they did yesterday. Will we see a Dishonored game coming exclusively on Game Pass? Will we potentially see a Fallout New Vegas 2? Or will we see a I don't know. I imagine Starfield and Elder Scrolls are just too big to leave on the Xbox platform. But hey, you're spending $7.5 billion. You could do whatever the hell you want. So, does this make me want to get an Xbox more today than yesterday? Absolutely. This is really, really exciting news. For the most part, most of these games are currently available on Game Pass. And honestly, thinking back on it now with the gift of hindsight, there's a pretty good chance we probably could have guessed this was going to happen based solely on the fact that Microsoft and Bethesda have been playing well together for years. Recall at the launch of Fallout 4, Fallout 3 was included for free with the Xbox. So these two guys have had a strong partnership for many, many years. It's interesting to see it solidified. I'm curious what that means going forward for the creative vision of Todd Howard, particularly with how Elder Scrolls is shaping out. I suspect a lot of the technology and everything will be funneled more to make the Xbox console a more premier experience. Obviously, I am thoroughly invested in kind of the PC universe. So for me, these are all PC games anyway. I don't think too much impacts me, except now I guess they're free for me because I'm a Game Pass member. So I guess I don't have to pay as much. I don't know. I'll still be buying all the collector editions and all the helmets and all the cool statues that come along. So maybe I'll have extra copies of the game. I don't know, really, for me personally, but just overall and kind of the large landscape of the console wars, this is a very, very, very big deal. I don't think it can be emphasized enough. So, you kind of got to look at all of the games now and all of the studios that are owned by, and let me highlight this so you could read it here. All the studios that are kind of owned now under this Xbox umbrella. Bethesda is an incredibly talented group of 2,300 people. That's a large amount of people who make up some of the most accomplished game studios in the world. They include Bethesda, id Software, who makes Quake, arguably the best shooter of all time ever. Id has put first-person shooters on the map forever. Doom, Quake, yeah, wow, I'm in shock. Anyways, id Software, Zenimax Online Studios, who creates and owns currently Elder Scrolls Online, and also they work with Fallout 76. Arcane Studios, my absolute favorite company ever. They make Prey, they make Dishonored. They are also working on Deathloop. Machine Games, who has worked on Wolfenstein 1 and Wolfenstein 2. Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios, which are more kind of lower farm out studios, essentially. These teams are responsible for all the franchises I aforementioned and more. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. This is huge. This is a big, big deal. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know two things. One, does this change your opinion of all in on PlayStation or all in on Xbox? I suspect there's a lot of people who are making a tough choice right now. Maybe the choice has already been made if PlayStation sold out everywhere. I suspect there's a lot of people who are kind of looking and thinking, which platform is right for me? If these games truly do remain on Microsoft, which I can convince myself either way, that's a compelling argument. To have a console that's going to be the official home of Halo, the official home of Forza, and now the official potentially home of a Dishonored 3, a Wolfenstein 3, a Doom 3. that is a compelling argument. So that's my first question for you. And then a larger question for you guys is: do you think there's any positive changes you would like to see in the Bethesda world? Obviously, a Fallout 76. I've talked about that game at length. Can Xbox fix it? Does Xbox want to fix it? Are they ready to scrap it and move on to something else? Are we going to see a push for more online games, or is Microsoft going to funnel more people into Game Pass and these single player experiences? So leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.